Thank you and welcome back to the news review segment of the Power Breakfast Show. Today in my panel I have Mheshimiwa Paul Simba Arati from my extreme right, Mheshimiwa Professor John Lonyangapuo, Senator West Pokot, Mheshimiwa Beatrice Elachi, nominated Senator, and Mheshimiwa Jonathan Mweke, Deputy Governor Nairobi. Now, before we took the commercial break, there was this heated issue about how exactly to put a gap, to put a seal on the fight against corruption. One way is through giving senators money so that they can oversight. And you say they don't need that money, they have mileage already.
They do. They do. But another thing, before even we proceed, you know, you like calling me Paul Simba Arati, the three names. I would want you to let me know our full name. And his full name.
Next time we come on set, I promise.
No, my full names are Beatrice Kedeveresia Elachi.
No, I would want.
Simple. You know, he was calling Wamboi because that's the propaganda they do on the ground.
Oh,
Wamboi.
This is
This was the Wamboi he was trying to refer to, but he played a game. Now that he has brought the issue, I am called Beatrice Kedeveresia Elachi.
Thank you. Now, let's go.
No, let us go. I would love just to have the senators, yes, move around, monitor the projects that the governors they are doing. But indeed, you know, we cannot have them have money, extra money, whereas they are bashing, you know, everyone, including the governors that are misusing the public funds, whereas they are receiving the same money to run the project. Because when the senator is paid, like him who comes all the way from Pokot, if he's sincere, and that money is untaxed, the mileage is untaxed.
It will be taxed in the fuel.
No. You see, what we are saying is that they receive close to over $1 million.
Like in his case.
Yeah, and even those members of parliament who come from those areas. Therefore, what we are talking about is that they have enough money to oversight. If indeed, you know, now we're talking about cutting down the FT.
The genesis
budget
of this, Mheshimiwa, just to take you back, Professor said CDF should be taken to the counties because it's devolved.
You know, can I just let you know that the projects we are doing is not projects for the county. And we have
like what? Give us an example.
Our projects actually is education and security. Period. Roads were taken back to the county. Issues of hospital, water, everything.
So you do?
We don't do them.
You do education?
Education and security, period.
Sure.
Yeah, and there is environment bit of it.
But environment is devolved.
Actually, it's 2% of all allocation that you get. Therefore, all other projects, they are run by the county. Roads is county. If you talk of water, is the county.
So when your constituency gets 64 million shillings, that should go towards basic education and security. So we should have enough houses for police officers?
Police, yes, of course. And we have done that. If you check around, you'll get a number of houses.
Do we have enough houses for
the security?
Yeah.
No.
In his constituency?
In his constituency, first of all, in the Greater constituency, when you look at the area, especially in the slum area, the issue of land is also an issue. So just getting land to build it will be it's a tall order, and therefore there's need to have a plan with all the landlords who live there, so that you can have goodwill of where you can get the land to put those houses.
Even that one, even the small spaces which were left. Some guys from City Hall, they are busy picking every piece, even the road.
Some guys from Jonathan Mweke.
Yeah, and they are known, and it's only that we are national TV. I can mention a number of them.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't, because I don't have...
Let me assist my brother here who is misleading Kenyans in the national TV. I move from here to West Pokot whenever there is a project, whenever I'm going home. I'm paying mileage. Now, I have 4 MPs who are also paid equivalent the same amount that I'm paid. If it is 120,000 anytime I go, that is what the others are getting. So, ideally, if you really don't want me to have money for oversight, you should give me as the senator who covers the entire county.
120 times 4.
120 times 4 at one go.
I saw that coming.
That way, it makes sense to accuse me that you are not. Why are you asking for funds? You should be able to be sufficiently enabled by the people of Kenya to serve. But how dare you talk like that when you are only giving me the same amount that the one you are getting, and then reaching there, you jump into the CDF vehicle yourself.
You leave
your own vehicle. In fact, and then they roam around with fuel and some miscellaneous, etc. amount of money from CDF, and is broadcasting saying that they are now building primary schools. They want to announce
no, primary schools, no, I didn't say that. Education is for the county government.
No. Primary schools is national government, which is now CDF. Secondary school is national government, which is CDF. Policemen, AP, anybody sleeping in under a tree without the house.
CDF.
So I have come, yesterday I came from East Pokot. There is simply nothing to show. In fact, we are going to table and ask Kenyans, if none of these MPs has shown what has been done, all of them, 290, home. Because there is nothing to show how their CDF was spent.
Charles, there is
pointing fingers.
There is a point. I want to move to this side. Jonathan seems to be so quiet.
Charles, there is a point that...
one minute. I'll come to you. Beatrice.
I want us to look at it now by the law, because Kenyans will be wondering what are we communicating when we have all this on paper. First of all, this is a law that came in, I think, in the 8th or 7th Parliament. And the law has continued up to date. And they say within, they look at it in terms of kilometers of 100, I don't know, and 20 or 122 going up. So those within Kiambu,
within 100,
Nairobi will never get, because your kilometers are, what they need to do is either you go back and look at, while you talk of Kiambu and 120, because even him can make 122 if he goes all over Nairobi or whatever. So I think all they need to do, look at the policy and how the policy affects others and the rest. But if we cannot fight it, because I know the majority will kill us. It's a very nice fight. But now let's come to the senators. What I know, and he's in the committee of delegated legislation, is that all the senators were asking, yes, money for oversight. This money was supposed to do meetings for people, sort of a civic education,
public participation,
participation, and try and enhance the knowledge of people to understand what does governance do, what is the role of even their staff when they come on the ground. Now, part of it, when you look at the Constitution, remember we agreed as Kenyans we must have civic education. So for me, if the committee had looked at it and said, from the time we got our Constitution 2010 to date, we've not been able to do civic education, then through this oversight, education can be enhanced through that. I wish they did that. They looked at it differently. Senators, nominated senators are going to compete, and therefore members of parliament first.
So it's like
but for us, when you look at what we were getting, could not have made the Weshimia's fear.
Remember,
because I think we were being given 1 million, which some of us would have said, I don't need to go now to EACC to start accounting for 1 million, which I don't know. So if the money would have come, I might have said, look, we are going to an election, you're bringing the money now, it does not make sense.
Help me.
It will make me just go to court next year being asked questions that I don't have.
The genesis of all this, thank you very much.
And the Constitution now calls all of us members of parliament. I want the National Assembly to start appreciating the way India, every country, where the Constitution says you are members of parliament, then you are equal. What I've never understood is where they realize when it comes now to things of money, it is the National Assembly and these other members of parliament, I don't know what they call them at that time, but the Constitution I would wish we follow.
Thank you very much.
You made your point. Members of parliament.
You made your point. The genesis of all this is the agenda as set by the Daily Nation when they say this is what we need to look at as we head to the 2017 elections. Jobs, food security, corruption, devolution, and debt management. And so as we talk about the 8th August elections, according to the IEBC timelines, top public servants are supposed to be resigning from their jobs within the next 48 hours. This is unless, of course, the Kericho Court, the Kericho Employment and Labor Relations Court decides otherwise based on a petition that was presented to the court by a number of potential aspirants. What do you gentlemen and ladies think? Are we within the timelines? Should these people resign now? Should they be given more time?
I think the law is clear that 6 months to the election you should resign as a public servant so that you can go and look for your votes.
And this excludes you people here.
Yeah, because
how unfair?
it's not unfair. Why it's not unfair is because we still have a job to do, and you can't operate in a vacuum. Yeah, and our term is very clear on when it's supposed to end. But other public servants who are not elected already should be able to resign so that they can go and look for their votes and avoid other sorts of
to avoid clash of interest.
Yeah, but for us who are elected leaders, you can't say that the governor or the president or the MP should cut his term short now to go into a campaign mode. The official campaign period has not even started. So it's back to that whole case of things that I say here every Monday morning. What is so difficult with following the law? And I think that's one of the things that ails our agenda for this country, is that anything that's progressive that comes out, people always find loopholes so that they don't do it and refuse to follow the law. And I think it's wrong.
We keep circumventing the law. You were a public servant. What do you take of this deadline, and given what we are seeing now, where public servants are out there urging people to register and vote, in some cases even saying, take votes and vote for so and so? Isn't that campaigning?
I don't want to blame the civil servants. The Jubilee government directed all of them the other day to go and sensitize people to come, so it is not their will, it's not them who actually offered themselves. The governors also send their staff to go and mobilize people to do voting, which is okay. But this law is bad. It is a very bad law that should actually be scrapped immediately. Civil servants should work to the last day, when before the date Parliament will be,
so that there is no vacuum.
There is no vacuum. Dissolved. And then we enhance surveillance. All government agencies that normally check on how people spend and how people do campaigns should be enhanced and made feasible. To this extent that weekends, no government vehicle, including the county governments, which I was very shocked yesterday, I found some of them roaming around, going to where we were headed to for food distribution, where we went to Baringo, and then suddenly the fellows arrive, they pay themselves per diem, okay? They pay themselves everything, including the fuel. That has to be stopped. Anytime you have declared that you want to stand, during hours of your campaign, use your private car. And that has to be really sent across the board, so that any police officers on the road, they find you in a car unless you are going for visual function, detain that car. What became of the code of conduct which we used to have? From 8 to 5, government...
What became of the check unit department of the police?
Yes. Code of conduct, first of all, which is a document, is written. These fellows signed for it the other day when they went to office. They picked it and they know these are the working hours. If darkness arrives and finds you on the highway, look for the nearest police station or the nearest AP or the DO's place, leave it there. But today you find some of them in entertainment joints at night. So this law, we should support the Kericho court, whatever they are being called, so that our officers can work without fear or favor. But enhance, make sure that our check units are full alert in the whole republic, and things will move on. That's what I was saying.
We seem to have very little time left in our hands. But before we finish, it is the time of harvest. Political parties, Mandeleo, Chap Chap, PNU, name it, seem to be reaping so much from the goings on. I guess this is in relation to the elections law that requires that whatever party you are nominated in is the party you stick with. I want our director, if possible, Robert, kindly play for us a clip from Narok. Let's just see how this is all evolving before we move on.
It was deemed to be a huge harvest for the ODM party leader Raila Odinga in Narok County. Narok North, Member of Parliament Muitalel Ole Kenta officially decamping from the Jubilee Party to ODM.
Nakaniambia mimi ameangalia sera zote ya vyama, yeye anaona kwamba ako karibu sana na ODM, lakini ananiambia hataki kuja peke yake.
Kwa hiyo tutawaambia, lakini ile kitu tunasema Kenya watu wanaona tunahama, kama ni mbaya ni mbaya, kama ni mzuri kama ni mzuri, lakini tunafanya nini? Tunahama.
ndugu zetu walioko upande wa Jubilee, bado tuna muda wa kuwapatia, muje muwe pamoja na jamii yenu. Kuna siku pale bungeni, Duale mwenyewe ameniambia mimi, hatuhitaji kura ya Wamasai.
Odinga also cautioning the IEBC over the credibility of the polls register only a day after the polls body published a list of 21,141 names that shared ID numbers in its register.
Haya yote inaonyesha kwamba nchi yetu ya Kenya iko na ugonjwa. Tukishika hatamu ya utawala wa nchi hii mwezi wa Agosti mwaka huu, ndani ya siku 90 mtaona mabadiliko makubwa zaidi.
In the neighboring Kisii County, Co-Principal Kalonzo Musyoka was on a fresh voters mobilization in the region that has recorded low turnouts in the 3 weeks of the exercise. Musyoka blaming the Registration Bureau for the many shared ID numbers on the poll register.
Wamekubali zaidi ya watu 100,000 wameadhirika kwa upande huo. Inaonekana problem inatokana na Registrar of Persons. Yule ambaye anaandikisha kupeana vipande lazima amepanga kupeana vipande kiholela ili aibie Jubilee kura.
Musyoka also calling on his colleagues Odinga and Ford Kenya leader Moses Wetangula to back down from their bids and support him.
Uhuru anajua nikisimama game shot, nitachukua kura Gatundu, nitachukua Nyeri, nitachukua kila mahali. Kwa hivyo ndio hii dawa moja ya kuunganisha Kenya hii.
Back in Narok, the ceremony could not end without the politics of the opposition newfound unity under the National Super Alliance.
Mimi kuna mwingine mungependa akuje? Huyo ni nani? Huyo ni nani? Mungependa akuje wapi?
We cannot leave Jubilee and then start the same fate in ODM. So the party leader must assure us that we are getting to a place where we are welcome and where we will have a stake and where we will sit at the high table.
Kila mtu utaweza. Sasa siku ya ile nyele ile Jubilee imefika. Hata wafanye nini?
With only 8 days left before the electoral body IEBC concludes the registration period for the last phase, the opposition leaders are keen to comb through all their territories to ensure that their supporters come out in large numbers and register. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV, Narok North constituency in Narok County.
Thank you very much, Stephen Leto. I will request, ladies and gentlemen, that we focus on the first part of that report in the interest of what we are talking about. First, it was Senator Lenny Wuti. We have seen Kilemi Mwiria, and now we are seeing Member of Parliament from Narok. But before then, I will ask you, Professor.
Yes.
Is KANU in NASA?
KANU is not.
I have seen the face of KANU, the Secretary General of the party, in a NASA function for the 3rd time yesterday.
You have stated it clearly. This is the defection season. So you can already see the trend. Salat is going, so it's allowed.
Yeah.
The man is allowed to go. So don't be worried when you see one of us has disappeared that way. He has seen some green pasture. Let him go. So you haven't heard officially from us, from my chairman Gideon Moi, from myself. Myself key because West Pokot is the only county with the KANU county government. So they're 100% KANU.
182 days before elections. When are you going to make the decision?
We will make the decision. Why are you people in a hurry and worried? Yet
because KANU ni baba na mama. We want to know where you are lying.
Hakuna siku baba atatanga kufuatana na watoto. You remain and all the kids are yours. You watch up to the last minute. You watch our steps. All is in order. But that was okay. The man is allowed. You know, there's freedom of choice.
While you are at it, it's the season of defections. Yes. What do you take? We have seen Maendeleo Chap. We have seen Chama Shinani. We saw ODM in Narok. It hasn't started today. Remember earlier on, Jubilee reaped quite a bit from across the country. What does this signify?
This is the season. Who doesn't know? This is the time. The only casualty I pity is my colleagues who killed their parties and went to Jubilee. TNA was destroyed, URP was destroyed in the name of making it one. Now see what has happened. You know, Lenny Kivuti was going to remain in TNA or pass, but he will still remain Jubilee coalition. So we are watching and saying, as yes, Ufunjika kuu. So this is the season. It's allowed. Even code.
You resonated with that. Asiyesikia la mkuu vunjika kuu. What exactly do you mean?
Well, for me, in political dispensation, and I said that, you cannot control anyone, and people will have parties. So for me, I know some of them will feel like Senator Lenny Kivuti will ask himself, why should I go spend money on a nomination, and then in the end, I would rather go to Chap and we meet. But they're in the same course, same agenda, and we knew it will happen. So for those who didn't expect that to happen, then you're not a politician, because politicians, first of all, you must be selfish, you must secure what is yours. That's a politician. So it is going to happen not just for Lenny, but many who would feel, why should I go spend money? And but if you're in a stronghold, a serious stronghold, then you have to fight within. Whether you're in ODM or Jubilee and you're in a stronghold, you must fight within that, because when you get the ticket, then you are set
to get the ultimate prize.
It's like 100%, 80%, you have cleared one
major hurdle.
Yes.
Jonathan, while at it, also talk about how comfortable is the coalition? How comfortable is the leadership of NASA, given that you are an insider? Are we likely to see cracks sometime and more defections?
You have said very rightly, I am an insider. And I can tell you now that this unity is real. There's a lot of propaganda that's going around that these people are greedy and the leaders, everybody wants to be president. No. These 4 leaders have come together. The agenda is one.
When you say 4, you mean who?
There's Kalonzo Musyoka, there's Raila Odinga, there's Moses Wetangula, there's Musalia Mudavadi. And I'm sure others will join as the movement continues going. Yeah, but when you put people together with the same vision and the same agenda, then they get bound to it. And the starting was last week when that agreement was signed in Serena, and a technical committee to work out now the details was launched, and you saw the first rally in Bomet. All of us saw Bomet. You could see the mood, you can see the respect between the leaders, and each of them know that whoever comes out as the flag bearer, they're going to support them, because the agenda is one. The country has gone to the dogs. There's been mismanagement and misgovernance, and NASA has an agenda for this country.
How soon? We have 182 days before an election.
Well, the IEBC says that you have to put in your nomination papers 60 days before the election. So we still have until June.
So you still have 122 days.
Yeah, we still have until June to get the flag bearer. If it comes in sooner, fine enough. I myself would prefer it to come much sooner, as soon as yesterday, so that we know who it is that the flag bearer is, and then we can all start rallying towards making sure that this country goes back into safe hands.
I believe also that you're also a member of NASA. Do you also want it to come sooner?
I would have wanted to have come like yesterday, but one important aspect we want to agree is that yes, it's harvest time, but then it's not harvest time. It's a time that the Kenyan people, they are tired of the regime which is in power, and actually people, they are moving. The masses, they are moving out. You will see more defection into NASA, and I want to tell you that NASA will NASA these people, and we are prepared now to take over power. The only thing we want to teach the likes of Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta and his team on how the country is run properly, with decorum, with the discipline, where we can be able to manage the resources of the Kenyans properly, unlike what they are doing at the moment.
Thank you very much. Because we are winding up, I want to give each of you a minute. I have about 4 minutes and you're 4, so kindly stick to your minute as we finish this off. Professor.
Personally, I want to ask the national government to be proactive and be on top of things. We have challenges facing Kenya now. We were in a drought-stricken county yesterday, Baringo, and I'm already seeing here the deputy president is saying leaders,
the opposition lacks ideas on how to end poverty.
We need to remind the deputy president his backyard is in total need of support. No thrift where he comes from. People have migrated to Uganda looking for food. So we need, other than talking, we also need very serious action. And Kenyans, like we have always been saying here, you count on your leadership, we need your support, and we want everybody to remain together as we continue in this journey of election. They normally come and go, but our nation
will remain. Very wise words, Beatrice.
For me, first of all, Kenyans, we like waiting for the last minute. Kindly come out and take your vote. For the government, I believe that the Jubilee government has done its best in the 10 points that they gave, and the Kenyans can see. I appreciate that the Kenyans who see are the grassroots. The elites will always tell us what they'll say, but when you go to the grassroots, you'll appreciate what the Jubilee government has done. Lastly, I want to tell our partners, as you go, because when you look at all their campaigns, as they say they will run our government, they are the ones who have made Kenyans to know, I am a Luya, I am a Luo, I am Kikuyu, because in every speech, that is what they bring out. Every speech of their leaders will come out and abuse these Kikuyu people. So who is dividing the country? They are dividing this country, they have divided. For the Maasai, I will appreciate, because in 2013, they also gave Tinga the votes. So he's the one who led in the Maa community. So I don't see anything different, because he's the one who took the vote at that time. In fact, the president, what he did was to embrace every Kenyan, even those who did not give him the vote. So for now, they are just doing the right thing, where they were and where their vote was. They have to take care of it now, or else they'll lose again.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, but my colleague just pointing out the Maa, and actually confirming to what Memusa was saying, that's the language they're using in their house, Jubilee, that the Maasai community, they don't belong, we don't need them. But I can tell you the Maasai community today, I'm happy, even those ones you had 2-3, they belong now to opposition at the moment, and will form the government. The only thing I'll ask the Kenyans is that let us take the vote and vote out this corrupt government and disciplined government with clueless, face the guys who are unable to run the country properly. Therefore, take your vote. Let us vote out to Uhuru and Ruto. They go home. We'll show them how the country is run properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Simba. DG.
Yeah. Well, it's really voter registration, because the biggest responsibility that the citizen has is this vote. They're the ones that are going to decide how their roads will be done, if they're going to eat or not. You know, you have heard Professor talk about drought, if they're going to go to hospital and find medicine or not. I mean, everything depends on your vote, and you can't vote if you don't have a voter's card. So we're just telling all Kenyans, anywhere where they are, as long as you're 18, go out and get a vote. And we're also sending a message to all the politicians and everybody else who's going out to mobilize Kenyans to register to vote. Like, let's do it peacefully. Yeah, let's not go the tribal way. Let's not have hate. Let's not tell people that you can't register here, we're going to chase you if you register there. No. Let's compete on ideas. Let's compete on an agenda, and let the Kenyans who are clever enough to choose the leaders that they really want. Last but not least, if you look at the Standard today, page 11, you'll see a big advertisement on a unified business license, which is what we as the County of Nairobi has done, led by the governor. And what that is really is we are collapsing all your licenses into one to make it so much easier for young people, for anybody who's doing a business, to be able to register and do the business so that they can focus on growing their business, making some money and creating jobs instead of running around looking for licenses. So I think it's something that is revolutionary. No other county has done it. Indeed, the national government has not done it. And Nairobi has led in giving you just one single unified business permit. So we are saying the deadline is 15th of February. Go out and also get your unified business license.
Thank you very much, Jonathan Mweke, Deputy Governor Nairobi, Mheshimiwa Beatrice Elachi, nominated Senator, Professor John Lonyangapuo, Senator West Pokot, and Mheshimiwa Simba Arati, Member of Parliament for Dagoretti North. That is just about all we had for you in this segment of the News Review on the Power Breakfast Show. I want to urge you all Kenyans that regardless of who you support or who you believe in, we all are Kenyans. You can choose anything else you want, but you cannot choose your neighbors. They